Where do you see the merger and acquisition opportunity in the next 6 to 12 months? And what is the flavor in the country?
Good morning, Mr. Sethi. I think the opportunity for M&A is pretty high in today's time for Indian market. Prime reason is what is happening with China and what is happening world over. The GDP has dropped for many countries, specifically in Europe, America, which is a major market. So there will be opportunities from these countries to India. And if you look at that today, in the Asia Pacific, we have done around close to 15 to 20% of M&A activities that happen from the Indian territory. So I think India is today the flavor of the season. So I think it's a positive sign in this kind of scenario that we are going through.
Which sector will be in focus?
I think depending on countries, the flavor of the sector will change. But I think manufacturing is one. In general, Europe will be looking at auto sector. Japan, Korea will be looking at auto. Textile is one of them. And so there was an article in today's Mint which said US is restriction imports from China. So if that is the case, that means there are few countries who will benefit from these are India, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Sri Lanka. So I think it's an opportunity. Depending on countries, I think the sector will be there. But India is a vast opportunity for M&A. I don't care what sector it is. What I care is that today India is presenting a platter of opportunities for international markets.
And where is cash flow challenge for majority of the SME, MSME, and the future for some of them is not clear. So is merger and acquisition an opportunity?
As an investment banker, we are talking to a lot of SME clients. We are talking across India and asking them what is your present status. Everybody foresees that there is a cash flow challenge. Prime reason is they have got a limit which is already being utilized for, though we are calling it working capital, but I think it's to manage their cash flow. They foresee that there is a growth opportunity coming down 1 year down the line. But till that time, what? And for some other people, there is an uncertainty. So I think one of the options for majority of the SMEs today is to look for M&A, is to look for joint venture internationally, get foreign companies to India. When today foreign companies are looking at India for M&A, for acquisition, taking a majority stake or outright buying. So I think the SME world should come out of what I call is a closed culture. They should look at this as a opportunity for them to actually become big in next 3 to 5 years. So they should be targeting M&A opportunities internationally, which I'm talking of. And it's happening slowly. There are a lot of sectors that is going through this kind of activity right now. Because when we are speaking to clients, some of them are telling that they are interested, though they know that M&A does not happen in 6 months or something, 9 months. It's a period of 9 to 12 months.
Whether contract manufacturing is a lucrative area?
Yeah, I think that's an opportunity for Indian companies because prime reason is a lot of countries today are shifting their manufacturing base, one. Secondly, there is an hesitancy of China. So they will look at contract manufacturing, and India is a good bet. India has a good policy, open policy. India has a very stable law and order system. India is a democratic country. So I think for these opportunity, the European countries or the Japanese or the Korean companies will look at opportunity for contract manufacturing, and who better than Indian companies for that?
What are the prospects for technology tie-up?
I think when you talk of M&A activity, it is just not getting somebody foreign company to look at taking a stake in Indian company. It is also that they should be looking at technology because ultimately now the opportunity for SMEs to give their products or services to the world. They can only be competitive. They can only go and bet internationally when their technology is good enough, when their product is good enough, technology savvy to the world. So I think they should look at all technology savvy companies internationally so they can have a tie-up with them and produce the best of products.
The new banking laws like IBC, NCLT are good for companies looking for acquisition. What is your view?
Personally, I think in last couple of years, the government has done a lot of things in the banking sector. These laws in one way help the M&A. It's like ArcelorMittal acquired SR Group, SR Steel. So I think this is happening in majority of the SME world, where small companies of 100 to 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores are getting acquired to these things, which is very hassle-free to some extent. Of course, there are typical way of going through, but it's one of the best ways to acquire companies who are into distress, but they give a lot of thing on a platter. It's like SR Steel gave a full plant, where the international guy comes in and probably puts in his expertise, puts his manpower, and he can start manufacturing within the third month. So I think these laws help in M&A Act.
What benefits the government has given in the last couple of years for international and local companies to acquire and invest?
I think government has been active and to some extent proactive. They've reduced the corporate taxes. We are one of the most competitive on that sector. Of course, COVID has hit those. The bottom line of many of the corporates will not be there that much. But the banking laws, they have changed. The GST implication that they have done, which is a huge relief for majority of them. Of course, whenever GST is implemented world over, it takes 1 or 2 years to stabilize. And those are small countries. Those are not countries of Indian size. Then India will take some time, I think. But today, majority of the SME world have got used to GST compliances, filing of GST compliances, and I think these are laws which, of course, it's been happening very fast for a lot of Indian companies which are not used to, getting complied that fast. So I think GST is one of them where the government has been active. Coming to post-COVID, I think the government has identified close to 1 lakh hectares of land spread across India, and they said that they will give benefit for foreign companies who want to come and put up manufacturing plants. That's happened in UP, Andhra, Karnataka, Maharashtra. It's happening. The land has been identified. Foreign government, foreign companies are being presented with these kind of opportunities. So I think it's a great time for Indian companies. Of course, in the next couple of months, there will be challenges, but I think maybe 1 year down the line, if they do take an action today, it's a great future for them.
What would you like to say about some deals which you are doing now in terms of joint venture and merger acquisition?
We are working on a couple of deals. I'll just to give you from the Indian side, we have got a company which is into auto-related sector. We are talking to 2 countries specifically, that's Japan and Korea, for having a JV. We believe that these countries give that kind of opportunity to the sector. Second is a company which is into engineering services. So we're again talking to these countries where we believe that these countries will give an opportunity for Indian company. And infrastructure company which is close to, in turnover, close to 1,000 crores. They are facing challenges, prime reasons, some of their projected, but what they have on the platter right now is that the international company, if they come and take a 50% stake or even a little more, it gives them good projects to start with, and they can bid large projects. And infra is one of the sectors that India is looking at in the next couple of years. So I think these are some of the sectors we are working on. Coming from international side, we got a chemical from Japan M&A firm. We got a chemical company which is given to us. They said they were looking for acquisition of 50% to majority stake. From an Italian M&A firm, we have got textile industry. We got a manufacturing related, agriculture related. So these sectors, these countries where we have got opportunities to work, find out Indian partners.
What are the challenges in matchmaking?
Well, of course, there are many challenges. One is when you have international people looking at India, they are very specific. They come down to the nitty-gritty, saying that they want this turnover, they want this EBITDA level, they want these kind of opportunities with them. So when we talk to many people, we find something or they're either missing. It's like we were talking of a logistic company where a Japanese company was looking at acquiring majority stake in a logistics company. but they were looking at a turnover which was $100 million and above. So when you look at that, there are very few companies. 95% of Indian companies are less than 400 to 500 crores in logistics space, and the EBITDA level, because primarily these are privately held or promoter driven for last 2-3 decades. So they don't maintain that kind of EBITDA level. So it becomes a challenge. Then we have to talk to the international M&A guys and explain the Indian scenario, the Indian SME world, and what are the strengths are besides just looking at some of the basic numbers.
What are your suggestions to SME, MSME promoters?
I think the SME, MSME promoters who have been in the business for the last 3-4 decades, what has happened, what you've done is fantastic, great. But now the future is totally changed. One, I think digital has become the buzzword. I think local marketing, if they only try to focus on local marketing for a lot of manufacturing companies, it will be a challenge. So I think they have to change the perspective of being what I call is that they can handle everything sitting down in India and looking at a local market. No, that's not going to happen. So I think the way of working, it's like today, you have a CFO who's probably a guy who's been spent 2 decades with you, but has no great knowledge of M&A, does not have great knowledge of international markets, who does not have great knowledge of international financial products, besides the banking product. I think the promoter now should look at what I call is somewhere outside their comfort zone to help them grow for the future.
That's a nice message.
Thank you very much.